Okay, so what if you could create amazing AI images without writing a single word of text? For years, getting that perfect picture has meant we all had to become these expert prompt engineers. But a new tool from Google is looking to completely change the game by letting you show an AI what you want instead of just telling it. I mean, really think about that for a second. You've got this perfect image in your head, right? But how do you actually translate that whole vision? The lighting, the mood, that very specific style, into a text prompt that an AI will understand. It's tough. It honestly feels like you're trying to describe a dream sometimes.
And that's the thing. This whole process has turned creativity into a really technical skill. You got to learn the right keywords, the negative prompts, all the weird syntax. But what if there was a different way? An approach that's way less about telling an AI what to do and a lot more about just showing it what you like.
Well, that brings us to Google's Visual Answer. It's a brand new experimental tool from Google Labs, and it's called Whisk.
So Whisk basically flips the entire script. Instead of starting with a blank text box, you start with images. It's built to make AI image creation feel more intuitive, more playful, kind of moving away from all those complex text commands. And its tagline, prompt less and play more, that really says it all.
The way it works is actually beautiful in its simplicity. You just provide 3 visual inputs. First, you give it an image of your subject. That could be a person, a pet, an object, whatever. Second, an image for the scene, the background. And third, an image that sets the artistic style you're going for. Whisk then takes all 3 and just remixes them together.
So how on earth does it actually combine 3 totally different pictures into one single, cohesive, new image? Let's get into the tech that makes this whole visual remixing thing possible.
Behind that really simple interface, there's some seriously powerful technology at work. You can think of it like a clever 2-step dance between 2 of Google's biggest AI models, Gemini and Imagen.
Okay, so first up, Gemini acts like a translator. It analyzes the 3 images you uploaded and uses its brain to generate super detailed text descriptions for each one. So it's actually turning your visual prompts back into words. But here's the key. It's doing all the prompt engineering for you.
Then, in step 2, those text descriptions that Gemini just wrote get handed off to Google's super powerful image generator, Imagen. And Imagen takes that incredibly detailed prompt and creates the final image, blending all the concepts from your original 3 pictures.
Now, this is probably the most important thing you need to understand about Whisk. Google is being very, very clear that this tool is designed to capture the essence of your images, not to create a perfect copy. It's all about creative interpretation.
So what does that actually mean when you use it? Well, if you upload a photo of a specific person, the final image might show someone with a similar vibe, but maybe with a different haircut or a different body type. It's not about replicating a person, it's about remixing the idea of that person.
So that's the theory. But how does Whisk actually hold up when real people get their hands on it? Well, as you'd probably expect with any experimental tool, the early feedback is a mix of pure magic and some real frustration.
So on the one hand, people are finding it's an amazing brainstorming partner. It's fantastic for quickly exploring visual ideas, coming up with totally unexpected concepts, and making fun, stylized stuff for things like stickers or pins. And for people who aren't prompt engineering wizards, the workflow feels incredibly natural.
For example, this Reddit user found that it works decently and even lets you go in and tweak the text prompt that the AI generates. And they managed to create this pretty awesome image of their dog in a classroom made of felt, which just goes to show you, with a bit of playing around, the results can be really cool and creative. But on the other hand, there are some pretty common frustrations. Because it's not a photo editor, you can't just make little precise changes. That character inconsistency we talked about, well, sometimes that feels more like a bug than a feature, especially if you're trying to get a specific look. Oh, and for now, it's only available in the US.
And some of the feedback is, well, it's a little less diplomatic. One user was clearly not having a good time, saying they hate it after trying for an hour and getting nothing meaningful. And that really just highlights the steep learning curve some people are running into.
This user hits on a core frustration perfectly. You try to make one small change, like a shirt color, and the AI goes and changes the person's face and the room they're in. And here's why that happens. The refine button doesn't actually edit your image. It writes a brand new prompt and regenerates the entire thing from scratch.
Okay, so with all these pros and cons in mind, let's zoom out a little bit. What is Whisk really telling us about where creative AI tools are heading in the future? Google's own statement really frames the tool's purpose perfectly.
They say we built it for rapid visual exploration, not pixel-perfect edits. So this positions Whisk not as a replacement for something like Photoshop or even Midjourney, but as a totally new kind of creative partner for brainstorming and discovery.
So here's kind of how Whisk fits into the whole AI landscape right now. You've got tools like DALL-E and Midjourney that rely on super detailed text prompts to get precise results. Whisk, on the other hand, uses visual inputs for this intuitive, remixing workflow. It's really built for rapid, fun brainstorming, not for creating that perfect, final, production-ready masterpiece.
And all of this leaves us with one big question. As these tools keep evolving, is the main way we create with AI going to be through detailed verbal description, or is it going to be through this more tactile, visual process of remixing? Whisk is basically Google's bet that there's a huge space for that second option, and it might just change how all of us think about bringing our ideas to life.